Week 3, Denver Broncos. And the first time I have a guest to help me break this down. What is up, fans? Week 3, Denver Broncos. Said that in the intro. Home opener. This initially, fun fact, was the game I was going to go to because the way my wife's free time or when she was getting a break was lining up with this game. Fun fact, my birthday is next Wednesday, the 27th. Let's go. But it didn't. So I'm going to the Giants game again. So in 2 weeks, I'll be in Miami. But anyway, I got Brandon Perna on this Mamma Jam to help me break this down. If you don't know who Brandon Perna is, That's Good Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. Hilarious. Go check him out. And also, got to shout out some new patrons in Volker Burwald and Camden. Thank you so much for joining the Patreon. If you'd like to join the Patreon, it is linked in the description below. If you want to become a member, it's the join button next to the subscribe button. And also, I have to shout out a big thank you to today's sponsor, and that is SNHU. I'd like to thank SNHU for sponsoring this video. Now, if you're watching this video, a lot that can go into this type of stuff is communications. And that's something I'm going to talk to you guys about with SNHU and their communication program. If you feel like your experience is holding you back from pursuing the career you want, then I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, SNHU. SNHU has one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offers in the country. I want to talk to you about their communication program. Now, I'm bringing this to you guys because, again, I cover the Dolphins on YouTube, all that stuff. A lot of it does entail communications, and their degree kind of coincides with that. In this program, you learn how to effectively communicate in different ways, from speaking to writing and even visual, and learn how to use those communication tools to spread your message. Kind of like how I started doing this to spread my awareness and my thoughts and opinions on the Miami Dolphins. Plus, you can dive deeper into the field with concentration in business communication, new media, professional writing, or public relations. So you kind of get a taste of everything. SNHU is radically affordable. Their online tuition rates are some of the lowest in the nation. And that's important because tuition is kind of hiking up. Go to the link in my description to see what the current average annual salary for their communication program is and request free information about that program. When you request information, you're going to talk to a real person. You're not going to talk to any, robots, computers, any AI, any of that stuff. A real person will talk to you about the program and how you can benefit from it personally. It only takes one click to find your calling. So SNHU, Southern New Hampshire University, thank you guys so much for sponsoring this video. Again, thank you so much to SNHU. And so now we're going to jump into this like usual. We're going to talk to Brandon Perna. We're going to look at the injury reports. We're going to look at the breakdown, look at the lineups, 5 things, and then I'll give you my prediction. I got a long one for you today. But let's jump into this and talk to Brandon Perna. We got Brandon Perna. That's Good Sports.
All right, my hair just sticking out on the side here. God, I'm not camera ready, Doug. I'm not camera ready.
Why do you think I got a hat on?
Smart. What's up, man?
Not much, man. How are you doing? We were facing each other. Last time we talked, we weren't facing each other. This time, we're facing each other.
Yeah.
How you feel? How you feel? First off, how you feeling about your Denver Broncos?
Not good. Not good. I'm trying to avoid being, just the completely pessimistic, everything is burning guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you can only take so much pain and torture before, your forgiveness level just is gone. So I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for it to. Last week was against the Commanders was fun until it wasn't. We saw some things with the offense, some big plays. We've seen there's a whole bunch of efficiency stats out there about the Broncos offense. Like they are efficient on offense. They're scoring the most. And Russell Wilson, he's been pretty good.
Hmm.
I think the real problem is offensive line protection right now. And there are people who will back that up. I think he's been sacked
7 times last week.
7 times. He's been
Yeah.
hit. I think he's been hit the most of any
Hmm.
quarterback. So there are concerns there. We've seen some flashes. Our defense is an issue. But like I don't care about the stats when you watch your team score 16 points week 1 and lose 17-16.
Hmm.
None of that means anything. When you score 33 points and still lose 35-33, it still hurts. I would rather be rooting for the Dolphins right now, where it seems like things are optimistic. Love the way Tua's playing. Happy Vic Fangio's there. He left Denver after 3 years. I think he's going to get that defense chugging along at some point. And without question, Mike McDaniel is my favorite head coach in the NFL. And it's not even close. Like,
Hmm.
there are other coaches out there you like and you root for, like Dan Campbell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean McVay's likable, but Mike McDaniel is on another level. He's the funniest head coach, which really right away points with me. And I feel like the way he talks to the media is the way I would talk to the media if
Yeah,
I were a head coach.
definitely.
It's just like you can't get him. He's always got something funny to say. He's got a good response. So he's doing that while also doing his job really well as a
Yeah.
play caller, right? If if the Dolphins offense looked like Hackett's offense with the Broncos last year, he would be crucified. So he's a genius on offense and it's working. So I love it. I love that.
Now, what do you equate to, you guys, like you said, very close losses? What do you equate to that? Do you think it's the defense? Do you think it's the offense? Or do you think it's a combination?
It's always, I think it's a combo usually.
Mm,
Week 1, if the offense had clicked week 1, they would have won. The defense did a decent job against the Raiders,
mm,
but I also thought that the Raiders just aren't a very good football team.
yeah, no.
So they played the Commanders, and the defense gave up 35 points
Mhm.
after starting with a 21-3 lead. So typically, when you have a lead like that, your defense can hit the cliche, they can pin their ears back and get to the QB, right?
Yeah.
Well, they were getting to Sam Howell early,
Mhm,
specifically in the red zone. Like 3 of the first drives the Commanders had, the Broncos stopped them in the red zone. 2 of those were because of sacks they had on Sam Howell. I think that the Commanders line is questionable.
mhm,
But when you have that lead, there weren't any opportunistic plays from the defense. They dropped a couple passes that could have been picks. They did strip sack Sam Howell, but the Commanders recovered the ball there. So, you need some of those plays to kind of go your way to give your offense an extra opportunity. And of course, the Broncos offense goes through the third quarter, doesn't score any points.
yeah,
And they just let the game get away from them. So right now, it's a little different in that I think Broncos fans are feeling optimistic about the offense. The run game needs to get better. Usually we're feeling good about our defense, and it's just like, when is the offense going to score some points? Last week they scored points and still lost. So it's like, what do we need to do? What do we need to do?
I've been there. I've definitely been there where things are
Yeah.
clicking and then you're like, "Well,
Yeah.
come on, like, put it together, put it together."
Yeah. Let me ask
Um,
you one question,
yeah,
because
shoot.
we were breaking this game down a little bit on my podcast yesterday. What do you feel like the Dolphins' weakness is right now? Because I know week 1, the Chargers, ran the ball down
Mhm,
Miami's throat.
mhm,
That got better against the Patriots. I think the Dolphins are a very solid football team. I know some people are concerned about the kicker, but
yeah.
like, What do you think is like the one thing they need to really get better at before you start to believe the Dolphins hype? And there's a lot of Dolphins hype right now.
Yeah, I know. It makes me nervous.
That's an answer of somebody who's just been beaten down so many times. Like things are going well, people are giving you attention. And you're like, I don't like it.
I don't like it. Just let us be the underdog. I
Yeah,
don't like it. Like I see some people have us like number 1 in power ranking. I'm like, no, 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 no. Put us at
I
like
put you at
15.
2. Don't worry.
To me, it's like the pass rush, right? Like we get a ton of pressure, but we don't finish it. Like we only got like we got 3 sacks against the Chargers. 2 of them came on that last drive, and then against the Patriots, we got 3 sacks, but it was like sporadic. But we're like 3rd in the NFL in pressure, and we're like 30th in blitzing, which is good because last year it was
That's
flipped. But we're not getting home. That's what I
Okay.
want to see. I want to see that constant, because there's times where the quarterbacks have time, and then
Yeah.
your corners can only cover for so long. So to me, like you said, we got better at stopping the run, but it's like I would like to see more sacks. I want to see more of the quarterbacks being uneasy, because our pass defense isn't great. It's like 25th. Actually, yeah, it's around like 14th, and I would like to see it be a little bit better, get some more pressure. But yeah, and then the snapping issue with Connor Williams, it's driving me nuts. The
What's the
2
snapping
games.
issue? Just
Yeah,
bad snaps?
ugh,
Oh, is
I
that why Tua like fumbled
fell on
on
his
the
butt.
kneel
Yeah,
down possibly there? And wasn't there another snap fumble in that game too?
yeah.
Yeah,
There was
okay. Now
there
I
was
know.
2. There was 2 last week. There was one under center that we
Okay.
uh Mike McDaniel said he was going to go for it, but then it ended up being a 4th and 3 instead of 4th and 1, and then we tried kicking it and he missed. And then there was a snap where it went low, and then
Gotcha.
Tua tried to throw it, but his foot got stuck, so it kind of just fell on his butt and just got rid of it. Yeah, it's the Connor Williams is a left guard who transitioned to center last year, and it's
Okay.
just
Takes time then.
yeah, it's taking a lot of time, and it's making me get some gray hairs that I'm covering up with that. Talking about you guys, Russell Wilson seems like he's doing a little bit better. Especially with Sean Payton now.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on him? Do you like what the progression you're seeing from him?
Yeah. I mean, our expectations last year were so high, and then
Mhm.
they were just crushed down to nothing. So, seeing him throw 3 touchdowns last week was our throw, yeah, 3,
Mhm.
including that Hail Mary there. I think he had 3. Anyway, um, it was standard Wilson where, like, he's hitting these deep balls, like,
Mhm.
just perfect placement, doing a great job. Marvin Mims had, like, an insane breakout game, our rookie wide receiver. So, like, you love all of that. Russell Wilson still he does not have he's not as elusive as
Mhm.
he was. Like, just that little bit of speed difference. Once you get a little bit over 30, that's, like, gone, and that's not coming back because he trimmed down this offseason, right? That was
Mhm.
because he was heavier last year. So that part of his game, I think, is just kind of average.
Mhm.
Um, and I think we can see Russell Wilson be really good if the Broncos offensive line gets better. And I
Mhm.
I I saw a stat today. The Broncos were like bottom 7 or 8 teams in terms of opposing defenses getting pressure
Mhm.
without blitzing,
Mhm.
right? So we got Garrett Bowles. He was coming back from a broken foot or ankle or leg or some shit last year. And then Mike McGlinchey, they added him in the offseason. So I think you can be optimistic and say the offensive line could get better in pass protection. And you could argue that the run game can get better, which should maybe give Russ just a little more, um, time to throw. And I think if those 2 things happen, like the line doesn't have to be the best, and they don't have to have the best run game, but they need some bigger plays
Mhm.
while running the football. Javonte Williams, I don't think he's 100% yet because he really messed up his knee last year, but he's getting there.
Yeah.
And once they start ripping off some runs that are going for more than 20 yards, which was a narrative last season, it's one again this season. That makes defense play a little more off. Or sorry, that makes defenses play a little more honest,
Yeah, yeah.
that will help. So there was 2 plays though that Russ he fumbled, which led to a Commander's touchdown.
Mm,
So just a mistake there, and
yeah.
he threw a terrible pick. So those kind of aren't being talked about because he's doing some other things well. And the pick was bad because it came 2 plays after he nearly threw another pick.
Oh,
So
geez.
those 2 things still concern me a little bit.
Um, with the offensive line, what do you think? What do you think the problem is there? Do you think it's a player personnel thing, or do you think it's coaching?
Probably. I think we're relying on Garrett Bowles to be as good as he was in 2020
Mm,
or 2021. Whenever he played really well and then got the contract extension,
mm,
I think it's might take a little bit before he's really comfortable on his ankle. And I've heard like some things about offensive linemen, the specific part of their leg that they broke. Like it's hard for them to really get back to form quickly because they're heavy. There's a lot
yeah.
of pressure on that, and before they feel comfortable, and that makes sense. So I think we were hoping Garrett Bowles is going to be elite, and I don't know if that's that. And
Mm,
then Ben Powers hasn't been as good as we wanted him to be in the at the guard position. And then you add another new piece in Mike McGlinchey. So there's 2 new pieces. You've got your left tackle coming back from injury. I think it's a little bit more of an issue of them just it's going to take a little time
yeah,
before that unit's at 100%
yeah.
via health and like just learning to play together. New system for guys like McGlinchey and Powers, new coach. So I think that's like I'm saying, if I'm being optimistic, like mid-season, they might be a decent offensive line. They might be
Yeah, yeah,
because they're not it's not atrocious. It's just not as good as we thought it might be week 1 and 2.
yeah. It normally takes like I tell them a lot of my subscribers. It takes about 4 weeks normally to get that continuity and
Yeah.
stuff. Like week 1, people are ready to jump ship on Vic Fangio because the Chargers did whatever they
Yeah.
wanted, and I'm like, guys, it's week 1, and then all of a sudden now against the Patriots, they're like, oh, look at Vic Fangio. I'm like,
Look,
give me a break.
and those Fangio defenses, they allow a 200-yard rusher once or twice a season. It
Yeah,
happened. I
exactly. Well,
watched it. It's
you
usually Josh Jacobs against us, but and I think like the other part for the Broncos is like Russ is learning new
Yeah.
stuff with Sean Payton, right?
Mhm.
He's running a different offense than he's used to. So that's part of it.
Yeah. Well,
You guys get Taron Armstead back possibly this week.
hopefully.
Hopefully, and Waddle not looking good to play
I think we'll know more about that.
today or tomorrow.
Yeah, like if he's at it, because supposedly on Tuesday he was pretty far into the concussion protocol.
Okay.
So hopefully today we get
Yeah.
some news.
If
Even
he plays, the Broncos are toast. If Waddle plays, they're toast. Because that's their weakness right now is coverage outside of Pat Surtain.
I was about to say you guys have Pat Surtain,
That's
and
all we have right now. Justin Simmons, our really good safety, his groin's hurting. So,
oh boy.
when that area is hurting, I
Ain't
wouldn't
much
tackle.
movement you could do down
I
there.
wouldn't cover.
All right. Well, looking at this game, give me an overall, thought, and what's your prediction on this one?
I'm scared. My prediction is fear. I think there's a couple injury things there, like Waddle, and
Mhm.
isn't Braxton Berrios on IR now?
No, don't scare me like that.
Isn't he hurt?
I don't think so.
Did I make that up?
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Berrios. Wait, maybe I saw. Maybe it was the Bears. Braxton. Maybe I just saw Braxton. It was the Bears tackle. Okay. Well, maybe
Yeah,
he's
no,
not
he's
hurt.
not. He's not on the injury report. Don't scare me.
Maybe I just read Braxton somewhere injury, and it was the Bears tackle, and I was just like, oh, Braxton
Hey, it
Berrios.
could have been Braxton Hicks.
Okay. So Waddle, I think Waddle's the real X factor.
Mhm.
I think if Waddle plays, you guys win.
Okay.
And I think it's not even a question of winning a close game. I think the Dolphins embarrass the Broncos. because it's an incredible strength the Dolphins have going against a weakness right now in Denver, and that is our secondary is both injured, and outside of Pat Surtain, there's not a lot of depth right now, and that's what you do well. You get Tua gets the ball to those playmakers and Hill and Waddle, and they just do this. They're fast. Nobody can catch him. If he doesn't play, then maybe it's a little bit closer of a game. That's as simple as I can put it.
Man,
And
I'm a pessimistic. I wouldn't say I'm pessimistic. I'm more cautious of a Dolphin fan, and I can't remember the last time the Dolphins just, going into the fourth quarter, I was like, oh, we got this. It's always like nervousness, and then the last drive, like look at the Patriots game. It was the offensive lineman almost getting the first down. It's just
Well, the Patriots they're always a tough matchup. I don't care like how good a team's offense is. The Pats always scheme well. Like Belichick always has them ready to attack their strength and try and force them to win on what they don't do well. So the fact that you guys got through that, so early in the season too, I think you're gonna be all right. As long as Tua's healthy, it's groovy for you guys right now.
That's the biggest thing. Brandon, thank you so much for stopping by and give us some insight on the Denver Broncos. I don't think I need to tell people this, but you better go subscribe to That's Good Sports.
Thank you. Hey, I'm on the Dolphins hype train, I've got the Broncos, and then I know Dolphins fans don't like this. The Bills are my second team, your enemy. The Lions are my second team. But based on Mike McDaniel alone, and based on the fact that I like Tua, and I'm rooting for Tua to win the Tua versus Justin Herbert dumb narrative, I find the Dolphins to be a fun team to follow as just a football fan right now. So,
and that's why I like you, Brandon. You're smart.
Fins up.
You're
Fins out. Go Fins. Whatever you guys say, I'm with you.
Appreciate that, bud. I will talk to you soon. And like I said, go check him out. Hit that subscribe button and help him out like you need it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
For real, if you guys aren't subscribed to Brandon Perner already, I don't know what you're doing, but go check out That's Good Sports. In the title, just click on his name, hit that subscribe button. Coolest dude you'll ever meet. Funniest dude you'll ever meet. It's so good. Go check him out. Now let's look at the injury report. And we're going to start with the Broncos because theirs isn't that long. You got outside linebacker Frank Clark. He didn't practice for 2 days. You got defensive tackle Mike Purcell. Hope I pronounced his name. He didn't practice for 2 days. You got Justin Simmons. He didn't practice for 2 days. And then you have Garrett Bowles, full participant today. Again, I am recording this on Thursday. We'll get more understanding on Friday. So the big thing is Frank Clark and Justin Simmons not practicing. We'll see if they play in the game. And then we look at the Miami Dolphins and oh my goodness. Let's just move out, because there's the scares here. There's the Xavier Howard, but he was removed from the list. And then Tyreek Hill and Andrew Van Ginkel, they were full participants. So I'm just gonna make the scariness go away. Right. But then you also look at the other ones. I'm starting from the bottom here. You got Jalen Phillips, he was limited. You got Tyler Kroft, he was limited. You got Julian Hill, he was limited. Raekwon Davis, limited. Elijah Campbell, limited. And Teron Armstead, limited. Those aren't as worrisome, right? But you got Jalen Waddle. He didn't practice for 2 days. He's still in concussion protocol. And you got Savon Ahmed. He didn't practice for 2 days. He is in groin protocol. He's got a groin injury. The only one on this list that we're like, what is happening with him, is Jalen Waddle. Now, he was out there doing stretches and everything Wednesday. I don't know where he's at Thursday. I think tomorrow we'll really get a good understanding if he plays on Sunday, where he's at in the concussion protocol. And it's unfortunate the type of hit he took against the Patriots that he's in concussion protocol. But we'll see either later today or probably tomorrow. But I think we need to know by today, and I think we'll find out today if he cleared concussion protocol and play. But again, I heard Wednesday he was like kind of ahead in concussion protocol. But we'll see how that all pans out. But that's the biggest thing for me is Jalen Waddle. Seeing the limiteds doesn't really worry me that much. Now we're going to jump into the breakdown. And if you don't know what the breakdown is, I look at the Miami Dolphins offense and the Denver Broncos defense, and the Denver Broncos offense versus the Dolphins defense when it comes to their ranking. And then we also look at the depth chart and all that stuff. So when it comes to their ranking of certain aspects of their team, the Miami Dolphins, when it comes to points, third in the NFL. That did not change from week 1. The Denver Broncos are 23rd on defense. Not good for them. Yards, the Dolphins are first. That did not change from last week. Or week 1, and the Denver Broncos are 16th. When it comes to turnovers, I added that one. The Dolphins are 15th. That jumped up from 3rd because of the interception there. And then the Denver Broncos defense is 25, which means they don't do a very good job at taking the ball away. Passing offense, the Dolphins are number 1 in the NFL. That didn't change. The Denver Broncos passing defense is 25th. That doesn't bode well from them. The rushing offense for the Miami Dolphins is 16th in the NFL. That went up from 18th with Raheem Mostert going off. And the Denver Broncos defense is 11th. So that seems like that's a good battle there. Third down percentage, the Dolphins offense is 13th with 42.1% converting those third downs. Went down from being 10th by 3 spots. And the Denver Broncos are 14th in the NFL, stopping them on 38.1% of third downs. Pretty evenly matched there. And then red zone, the Dolphins are 13th in the NFL, 62.5% of the time they get in the red zone, they are going to score. That went down from 10th, so they're down 3 spots. And the Denver Broncos are 23rd. They allow 71.4% of red zone trips to become scores. So their defense, their weak spot in the defense is the Dolphins' strength. I don't know how that's going to bode for them. And then flippity-flopping it, the Dolphins' defense is 19th in the NFL in points. That actually went up. They were 29th. So they got much better there. The Denver Broncos offense is 14th in scoring points. When it comes to yards, the Dolphins are 24th. That went up. They were 31st after the Chargers game. And the Broncos offense is 16th when it comes to turnovers. The Dolphins are 16th. They got 2 turnovers. The Denver Broncos offense is 9th. They have given up 2 turnovers, so they're not that bad there. Passing, the Dolphins passing defense is 14th. That went up 5 spots. They were 19th last week. And the Denver Broncos offense is 12th. When it comes to rush defense, the Miami Dolphins is 28th in the NFL. Went way up. 4 spots, not way up, from where they were after the Chargers game, which was dead last, 32, and the Broncos offense is 15th. Then when it comes to third down conversion rates, the Dolphins are now 30th from being 31st after the Chargers game, allowing 53.3%, whereas the Denver's offense is 16th, converting 39.1%. And then the Dolphins' red zone defense is 30th. They went down from being 27th, allowing 85.7% of red zone trips being touchdowns. And the Denver offense is 18th, 57.1% of red zone trips turn into touchdowns. So when it comes to defense, the Dolphins' pass defense is their strength as of right now, versus the strength of the Broncos is kind of even-keeled, being 12th in pass, 15th in rush. But we'll see how this Dolphin defense pass rush can do. Speaking of that, let's look at the lineups. Looking at the lineups, we got the Miami Dolphin offense versus the Denver Broncos defense here. We will start with the Dolphins offense. You got Tyreek Hill here, second in PFF ranked wide receivers. River Craycraft is over here because we don't know what's happening with Jalen Waddle. But I think this might be Eric Ezukanma, or this could be Cedric Wilson Jr. I don't know if Craycraft would be there, but Braxton Berrios here is 37th. The offensive line, to me, did much better, especially the interior, but this guy worries me about us snapping. Durham Smythe is really starting to come up and show what he can do. Tua Tagovailoa, number 1 when it comes to PFF. Raheem Mostert, 12th after that big game against the Patriots, who have a very good defensive line. People underestimate that, but they were more focused on stopping the pass, so they had a lot of 3 high safeties, and the Dolphins took advantage of it and ran it down their throats. You look on the defense of the Broncos. You have Pat Surtain the second. That's their best corner. Mathis on the other side. Looks like it's not their best corner. Their defensive line is okay. You got Cooper over here, Gregory over here. Singleton and Jewell look like they're pretty good. Simmons might not play, and you have Jackson back here. It looks like, and what we heard from Perna, that they're afraid of the combination of Waddle and Hill, so we'll see how that pans out. And if the Dolphins' offensive line with Teron Armstead, we'll see if he plays, but if not, Kendall Lamb still did pretty well. Can get a push, and we can get that combination going. I think it'll be a good day for the Dolphins. Let's flip it. Now with the Dolphins on defense, we'll start with the offense, be even. Look at the offensive line here. Bowles, Powers, Cushenberry, Miners, McGlinchey. McGlinchey is the new guy brought in. I told you guys, me and Perna were talking about the offensive line kind of struggling, giving up sacks and pressures. You got Russell Wilson. Is he going to pounce back? They have P. Ryan here. What is he going to do? Judy, is he still healthy? And you got Sutton and Johnson. Kind of see where they go on the offense, but you flip it and you look at the defense here. Dolphins defense, Kodu, again, doing really well. Eli Apple, we'll see. I'm hearing some Cam Smith things, so we'll see how that pans out. Xavier Howard barely targeted versus the Patriots, and when he was, got an interception. Javon Holland, 7th out of safeties. David Long Jr. getting some nice praise. The defensive line getting some praise, especially Bradley Chubb now at 7.3. Elliott was making some plays. I think the Dolphin defense, again, I told you guys, this got to develop. Give it till week 4 to really see what they're about. And you're starting to see them develop and understand the playbook and what they need to do. Now we're going to go into the 5 things to me that the Miami Dolphins need to do if they want to beat this Denver Broncos team. Again, no specific order. I jotted down some things when I was chatting with Perna, like, that's interesting. And then I was watching the way they played the past 2 weeks. So I was taking notes. And the first thing I have on my list is continue the balance. The Miami Dolphins against the Patriots on offense kind of did whatever they wanted to. It was a 50-50 when it came to running the ball and passing the ball. Continue that balance. Now, if it's 40-20, where they throw the ball more, I'm fine with that. But just have it be somewhat balanced, that it's not 15 times you run the ball, but 45, 30, 50 times you pass the ball. Because then all of a sudden, you don't take advantage. You saw it last week. The Patriots were afraid of Tyreek Hill. They had that man doubled. They had 3 high safeties. They tried their best to take him out of the game. They still didn't, because he still caught 5 passes for 40-something yards and a touchdown. They tried, and then we focused on Jalen Waddle. We focused on Braxton Berrios. We focused on the other guys, and 2 still had over 250 yards passing. But also, that pushes the defense back, and all of a sudden, we run it up their gut. That's why the balance is there, and that's why the balance works. Keep the balance. Number 2 on the list, stop the run. That's just fundamental footballs, boys and girls. Stop the run. You stop the run, you force the pass, you have your guys pin their ears back, like me and Brandon were laughing about, and you get after the quarterback. Stop the run. Don't have it be like the Chargers game where for a whole drive they ran it, and all Justin Herbert had to do was dink and dunk it. Stop the run and force Russell Wilson to beat you with his arm and have him be uncomfortable. Because again, if you let them run the ball on you, then all of a sudden the offensive line of the Broncos isn't in as much of a worry of pass blocking, and they can start pushing instead of worrying about getting pushed back. There's number 2. The number 3 thing, sack Wilson. Now, I had pressure on there. And if you guys been rocking with me for a hot minute, a lot of times when I think that the opposing quarterback, when he's non-pressured or when he's comfortable in the pocket, is going to torch us, I put this on here, right? And normally I say pressure whoever the quarterback is. But the Miami Dolphins are 31st in the NFL right now in blitz percentage, which is a good thing. Because like I told you last year, they were like first or second in blitz percentage, but they were like bottom tier in pressure hits and all that other stuff. They are 31st in blitz percentage, like Fangio said, he'll blitz when he wants to, but they are 3rd in the NFL in pressure percentage, which means they get a ton of pressure on the opposing quarterback. So that is why I have sack Wilson, not pressure Wilson. Because we'll get pressure on him, but you got to finish it. We only had, 3 or 4 sacks last week. And the week before, we had 3 sacks. Russell Wilson against the Washington Commanders was sacked 7 times. And I think he was pressured like 15 times. You got to get after Russell Wilson. You can't make him feel comfortable. And if the Washington Commanders can get after him and sack him 7 times, this defense should and hopefully will be able to get after him and sack him a lot, make him very uncomfortable. There's a reason why the Washington Commanders was able to bounce back and come back from a 21-3 deficit. Get after the man, but don't just get after him. Finish it and sack him. The number 4 thing on my list, clean football. Now, I'm not telling you to go clean the footballs. I'm telling you I want clean football game. Botched snaps, that's not clean football. Interceptions, that's not clean football. Penalties. See, with penalties, it's hard, right? It's hard to put that out there because these refs have been hot doo-doo butter the past couple weeks. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because we'll be home. Penalties, especially in critical situations, we've been good at. So far, so good. Clean. No turnovers. Play a sound football game. You're home. You're facing the Denver Broncos. Well, let's go. Get it done. But mostly I'm focused on like blocked field goals, missing field goals, bad snaps, interceptions. Like Tua, you noticed last week, I was like, this is not the time to try that. He could have made that throw if he just took a second and was like, I got this, and threw it instead of being like, oh, here comes Judon, and just kind of like chucked it up in the air. Clean football. And my 5th and final thing, Hill attention. Now, I have a full sentence here. Take advantage of Hill attention. There's no way I would put that whole thing down here. So, take advantage of the fact that Tyreek Hill is going to have a buttload of attention on him. I expect Patrick Surtain II to be glued to Tyreek Hill. If he's on the left, if he's on the right. If he moves him in motion, this, or that, which we love to do. I have a feeling that's going to happen. Now, is Jalen Waddle playing or not? I don't know yet. But take advantage of the fact that he's going to be doubled. They're going to put a safety over the top. They're going to try to jam him at the line of scrimmage. They're going to try to push him off his plays. They're going to do everything they can to disrupt him. Now, take advantage of that and do throw the ball to him sometimes because you're going to get some PI calls. But take advantage of, look over here, it's Tyreek Hill, Braxton Berrios, Craycraft, Cedric Wilson Jr., Ezukoma, Durham Smythe, Mostert, Brooks, just shiny. Throw over here. Take advantage of it because now that he has that spotlight from the Chargers game, a lot of people are going to be like, we need to take him out of the game to disrupt the Dolphins offense, not realizing that, you don't think the Dolphins have thought about that and been planning for that? Plus, he still gets 40-something yards and a touchdown. So those are my 5 things I think the Dolphins need to do to beat the Denver Broncos. Now I'm going to give you my score prediction. First off, I have to go off on a speech and a tyrant or whatever to tell you guys why I think the game is going to go, hopefully the way I think it's going to go. There are some guys who are out for revenge in a certain way. Bradley Chubb facing his own team. Vic Fangio facing his own team. Butch Barry facing his own team. You think these guys don't have something to prove? You think these guys, especially Vic Fangio, the way he got fired, doesn't think, I'm going to shut them down because they think yada yada bing bong bing? Well, they're dead wrong. All 3 of them, especially Butch Barry, with all the rumors they came out about he's a horrible coach and the players laughed at him and, oh, you went to Miami, ha ha ha, you're dumb. Butch Barry's going to say to these offensive linemen, I want you to knock those defensive linemen and linebackers 10 yards back. I don't want anyone coming near Tua Tagovailoa, let alone the running backs when they run this ball. Bradley Chubb, you didn't want me? You sent me to Miami? I'm going to get after Wilson and get 3 sacks on today. These guys have something to prove, but I didn't even get to the one guy that I think has a whole family-sized bag from Costco of chips on his shoulder, and that is Tua Tagovailoa. That man, first off, his first bad game where he got stumped was by the guy who's on our team and versus the Denver Broncos in Denver. They confused the heck out of him with the defense they ran because of Vic Fangio, who's our defensive coordinator. But the biggest thing is Sean Payton and what he had to say in 2021 when he said Tua Tagovailoa will be benched by mid-season for Teddy Bridgewater. Now, he came out and said he was wrong after Tua actually had a really good stretch of games before the bye week, but he still said it. And he's still bulletin board material. So you don't think Tua Tagovailoa is going to go out there and see Sean Payton on the opposite side of the field and think to himself, you think I'm going to get benched by midseason? Watch what I'm going to do to your defense. These guys have something to prove. Bradley Chubb, Vic Fangio, Butch Berry, and more importantly, Tua Tagovailoa. 2 offensive guys and 2 defensive guys. This game on paper should be a game the Dolphins win. Now, we are Dolphin fans. If I took my hat off and say I wasn't a Dolphin fan, say I was a Green Bay Packer fan, and I was doing my picks on this week, I'd look at this game and say the Dolphins should win by 10. It should be a game where the Dolphins win by at least 10. They're 6.5-point favorites. I take the spread, and I'm picking the Dolphins. They should win by 10. But me being a Dolphin fan, I know how the Dolphins play. I've been a Dolphin fan for the past 30-something years. I know how the Dolphins play. They play up to competition, and they play down to competition. We got the Buffalo Bills next week in Buffalo. That's a big game. You beat New England and Buffalo, and you go to 4-0? That's huge. That's a big game. I'm terrified that they see the Denver Broncos, and they think, hey, they haven't won a game. Let's go out, beat them, and head to Buffalo. I hope and pray this isn't a trap game. I'm going to knock on wood. They need to play like it's not a trap game. They need to play like they aren't the better team. They need to play like the national media isn't talking about, look at this Miami Dolphin team. That is why I hate it. Like I said with Pern, and he laughed. That's why I hate when they praise the Dolphins, because I don't want us to think we're good. I want us to constantly think we need to prove something because I want to play like we need to prove something. This is a game we should win. This is a game we should win by 10. I have the Dolphins winning this game 28-17. They should win this game. Home opener in the heat with a lot to prove. They should win this game. 28-17, they should win. I hope and pray they don't look past the Broncos, and I hope and pray they don't do the normal Dolphin thing and play down to their competition. Too many times, the Charger game and the Patriot game, it came down to the defense making the 4th down stop. I don't want that to happen. 28-17. Let's get this W. I will see you guys on Sunday, 1 o'clock with my dad. Comment below. Let me know what you think. 5 things. Did I hit something you said? Denver Bronco fans, do you think, hey, we're better than you think? Don't look past us. Like I said, we've shown it. But hey, we're better than you think. Comment below. Let me know. I will see you guys on Sunday. But like usual, stay classy and fins up.